Head of Marvel Studios Kevin Feige was recently asked during an interview whether or not there's been any development on what him and James Gunn previously separately talked about, which is the potential of a Marvel and DC crossover, and he believes it could happen. So once again, this comes at us from head of Marvel Studios Kevin Feige. Now, rewinding it back about 2 years, somewhere abouts there, when James Gunn joined the DC Universe, and then it was revealed he would be rebooting the DC Universe with the DCU, he talked about how he's had conversations with people at WB about possibly down the road doing a crossover with Marvel, and that everybody's ears perked up. At the same time, Kevin Feige talked about this months before that, and he said that if the opportunity presented itself and everything lined itself up, that they would do it. Well, fast forward to now, and Kevin Feige was asked about it again, and he says that every so often he's sitting there at night thinking about the future, and he thinks of Marvel and DC crossing over. And he says, obviously, for right now, they're just thoughts, and he's just trying to come up with ideas and scenarios that could work. But beyond that, there has been nothing formal, no sit-downs, no conversations. And then when asked about the fact that could he see this happening, or is it just pie in the sky type of dream, he says the same thing he said when it came to Spider-Man. And he said, when I talked about Spider-Man, I said never say never. And look what happened. And then he says, when I talked about X-Men and mutants, I said never say never. And here we are. And he said, never say never, because it could happen. So, like I said previously, and like we talked about this on the podcast before, if the DCU takes off and it becomes valuable, and it becomes something that fans genuinely are enjoying and talking about how they talk about the MCU, both sides will see how it will benefit them to do a crossover. Now, of course, the legality of this is going to be really complex. This isn't like back in the day where they had like Who Framed Roger Rabbit and a couple other like content on TV and films where studios were just straight up willing to share characters because it was more friendly. It wasn't so much about me, we don't care about you. That's changed, but we've seen that money talks. So imagine, let's say 10 years from now, we've had 3 Superman films. We've had a whole other Captain America trilogy. Spider-Man has had another trilogy. Suddenly, okay, what do we do next? Well, we're getting to the point where maybe, just maybe, we got to reboot. The DC Universe got to do something. Maybe they got to do a Crisis. Well, how about we do Avengers and Justice League? Infinite Crisis. Oh, look at that, right? Like, you know, like, they will do it because if Justice League gets rebooted and it becomes like a $2 billion franchise like the Avengers, imagine what the power of combining both brands could do. They could all literally walk away lining their pockets with just about infinite money when you think about the lucrative toy deals and so much more. Like, it's exactly why Kevin Feige is not dismissing it, because he sees the potential down the road.